Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. Today we're looking at the C-101CC and setting up the joystick or HOTAS controls. So it's important to note that I have an X56 Cytec Rhino. You'll probably have a different stick to me. So although you can't copy the exact buttons that I use, I will explain as I set the controls where I put them on the joystick, and then you can have a similar setup as me if you like. If you then go and watch the tutorial videos that we do on the aircraft, it helps obviously if you have the same aircraft. Just before we get started, it's important to say that if you have lots of aircraft like I do, it's important to set each one up with as many common uniform controls as possible. So for instance, if we have a button that we use for wheel brake on the C-101, make sure it's the same button for wheel brake we have on all our aircraft, and so on. It's just a good thing to remember. Right, let's go to options, controls. Where we're going to find it at the top here, I guess, C-101CC, and let's get started. So let's quickly explain these columns. We've got the action here. There are hundreds of actions in this aircraft. We will only need a few. We're just going to set the basic skeleton up. We need to fly and use our weapons and navigation. Next, we've got the category that action falls in. Next, we've got the keyboard command that's currently bound to that action. Next, we've got the left HOTAS button that's bound to that action. Next, we've got the right HOTAS that's bound to that action. The left HOTAS is, your thrust stick side of the HOTAS. The right HOTAS is the control stick side of the HOTAS. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start with axis commands. Now, I've already got these all set up because I've flown the bird. We're just going to basically tape over them, so you can imagine that they're not there at the moment. First thing we're going to get is zoom view. It's something you will need to fly. It'd be almost impossible to fly without it. I'm going to set it up as an axis on my left HOTAS. So I'm going to double left click there. I have a turny wheel on the top right of my HOTAS thrust stick. I'm going to turn it right, turn it left. It's picked it up. Okay. Test it. And it's good. Next is our thrust. We only have one engine, so I'm going to have both of my left throttles linked together. Double click here, move it forward, move it backwards. Okay, it's picked it up. Test it. And we're good to go. Next we have our rudder axis. We're going to double left click here. On our right HOTAS, you will probably have control pedals that you need to put here. I can't use control pedals, so I'm going to have a twist grip on my control stick right HOTAS. I'm going to twist it left, twist it right. It's picked it up. Okay, test it. Lovely. Next, I'm going to go axis tune. You'll have to do these three axis tune. Now you can see that my stick is slowly getting worse and worse. That dot wants to be in the middle of that black square there. It wants to be about there. So that, if I just wobble the stick, that's where it's settling at the moment, which means that it is issuing input controls when it should be neutral. So what we're going to do is add some dead zone, so just enough dead zone so that the flat here covers this red. That means in the stick's natural position where it settles, it will not be giving any input. Next we want curve. 25 is my standard curve. You may choose others, but 25 just works for me with all of the aeroplanes to keep it nice and simple. This gives us more control around the small movements of the stick, less control of the big movements of the stick. So more control here, less control up there, and you hardly ever use the big movements of your stick. If you do, then well, you're not flying right. So that's how it should be, and that's how it's going to be with all of our axis controls here, here, and here. Next we go to roll. Double click. We're going to move the stick right, left, then right. This is the right HOTAS control stick. Okay. Test. Axis tune. We don't need any dead zone. We do need some curve. Okay. Next, pitch. Double click. Stick forward, stick back. Okay. Test. Okay. Axis tune. Need a tiny bit of dead zone. In fact, let me just give that stick a wobble. No, it's okay. It's settled. It doesn't need curvature. We're going to go 25 as usual. Okay, and that is our axis down. Next, we're going to go to search to find the remainder. So we've done the axes buttons. Now we're going to do the binary but on and off type buttons. So we're going to type in flaps under search, and we've got flaps. All of these different flaps we can use. What we want is flap next and previous detent. I've got a four-way switch I use on the right side of my left HOTAS thrust stick, and I use the up and down positions for flaps. So next we want the sorry, I've just pressed the wrong button. Let's try that again. This one here, isn't it? So this is the one I always use for my flaps. So it's going to be the down position of that four-way switch, and previous flap detent, I want the up position of that four-way switch. Next, I have a switch exactly above that that's used for air brakes. So let's type brake. And if we can find that, there it is, air brake extend and retract. So same thing, left HOTAS on the right side of the control stick, down for extend, up for retract. And that is the left HOTAS down. In fact, let's see if we've got an auto start. I forgot to check for that. we do have an auto start. This is something that's very useful to have. I'm going to have it where I always have it, on the top right of the base of the left HOTAS. So on, and let's see if we have an auto stop, which I'm sure we will do. Same thing, but the down position for that switch. Okay, that is our left HOTAS done. So next we're going to move to the right HOTAS. We're going to start with the triggers. So weapon fire, gunfire here. Double click right HOTAS and trigger number 1. Next we're going to do our weapon release, which are the bombs and rockets and stuff. Weapon release, right HOTAS, double click and trigger 2. Okay, next we're going to do our brakes, our wheel brakes, which we will need 3 buttons set. We need wheel brake on, which does both wheel brakes at the same time. I've got a switch at the very front of the right control stick, right HOTAS that I always use, so let's do that. Okay, and next we need our left and right differential wheel braking for if you want to be able to taxi. So what we've got is on the top of our right HOTAS control stick, we've got 3 4-way switches. We're going to use the bottom right one, and we're going to use the left and right element for this. So left on that 4-way hat switch, and for right on that 4-way hat switch. Okay, that's that done. Next we need to set up our trim. I'm going to type in here trim. That's a bit annoying, there's lots, but okay, we can do this. So we've got trim left wing down. We are going to, this is another 4-way hat switch on the top right of the control stick. We're going to click here. We're going to click left wing down, the left part of that 4-way switch. Down, the down command, the down facility of that hat switch, up facility of that hat switch, and was that the right function of that 4-way switch. And that's that done. Okay, so that's the trim done. Now the only other thing I want is the gun range sighting. So we're going to go here, type range selector next, and previous. Now if we go back to the bottom right hat switch where we set the wheel brakes left and right, we're now going to set the up and down function of that 4-way switch. For next, we're going to press the up function. For down, for previous, we're going to press the down function. And that's that hat switch complete. Right, that's it. Really simple plane to fly, really easy to set up. So go and have some fun with it. I hope that helps, and see you later.